I wonder if you have anything to say about keeping up some determination, vigor, resolve.
We're all in a kind of monastery. The problem with being in the regular outside monasteries, out in the regular world, is that it's full of distractions. I mean, it's chock. Now it's chock full of nothing but distractions. That's all it is. It's a constant distractions, and that's what is the difficult part of being out there. That's the real essence of it. You get just about everything imaginable to distract you from your cell phone on up. You know, everybody now are in the cloud, right? They're all on social media, this and that. It's their whole life. You know, people even walk down the streets now without even looking where they're going. They just got their phone in their face. They're bumping into things and getting run over by cars and all kinds of stuff. And it's you know, that's the problem with that, because that distraction is just keeping you from focusing on cultivating. You know, you can't cultivate that way. You can't build up your mindfulness if you're going to be in the throes of all kinds of distractions. And that's the key issue. So you always try to find a quiet place for yourself, even if you can't do it. You know, if you require for your studies or for your job or whatever, try your best during those times. But always try to find a quiet space, either in your home or your apartment or wherever you live, where you have a place to sit and to decompress, you know, every day, because you know you're in the regular world, and you're not in a monastery. So that's the reasons for monasteries. I mean, really. Now, once you, like a sage, will be able to go into those kind of environments and not have them turn. He won't be turned by them. He'll have this, what's called his samadhi power going. But we don't have that. We don't have that samadhi power. So how do we get it? You just keep working on it when you can. Find a spot, find a time, set it aside, and say, this is my quiet time. This is my special time. This is my cultivation time. And then during the day when you're working, start building on being mindful of whatever you're working on. Don't try to, you know, not work on something when you need to work on something. Like if you're in school, you got to study what you need to study. Just try to bring yourself into the present as much as possible. Keep working on that. That's a form of cultivation. You know, use every trick in the book to bring yourself into the present and try to stay away from thinking about tomorrow and yesterday. And you just keep working that. It starts to give you some, it'll start giving you some results. Also, you become very effective at what you're doing, because you're here, you're focused on it, you're there. You're not daydreaming, you're there. You're dealing with the presence.
There is probably a large group of us that is kind of in that somewhat beginning to intermediate stage, and maybe we have our toes in the water, but we're wondering like how deep to go and how fast and where it's safe to swim and where it isn't, and we're trying to find our way.
People set their own pace. You know, it's about pacing yourself. You see, okay, am I ready for this now? Like I lived at Gold Mountain from when I moved in till I think I finally took refuge in '73. I think I was the longest person to be around Sure for that long and not take refuge. That's how slow I am. So everybody has their own pace, and so you should. The big thing to be aware of is don't let others pressure you, or don't feel pressured by other outside influences concerning this matter. This is between you, yourself, the Buddhas, and the Bodhisattvas. This has nothing to do with anybody else. It's none of their business. And when you're good and ready, you'll be good and ready. When you're not good and ready, or you're not sure you're good and ready, yeah, just, you know, do it. You want to dig yourself in a little deeper, fine. Do a session, you know, do a full session. Do a 28-day repentance ceremony. They're very effective. Or do a chan, you know, in the winter. Or say, okay, this year I'm going to do, you know, this and that. Let's see if I can do that. and do I want to go further or not? You know, because when you do really, even if you don't kai wu, most people don't wake up, don't have a great enlightenment, you're still going to get all kind of benefit out of a long, especially a big chan or a big recitation or bowing session. You'll start feeling tingly all over you, very light, light and easy. If you do it, if you really work hard, you'll start getting light and easy. You'll feel almost light on your toes when you walk near the, you know, usually that happens with me about halfway to 3/4 of the way into the session. And, you know, things are starting to tingle. Things are starting to happen. You're starting to rattle your true nature awake. And so it's always up to you. Just remember, it's always up to you to do that kind of stuff. And you shouldn't be influenced by somebody telling you should do it. They don't know anything. What are they telling you to do something? Unless it's a true knowing advisor. If Shifu told you, then you better pay attention. But somebody else, doesn't. What do they know? They don't know anything. If I told you, oh, you should do this and that practice, you could just throw that out of your backpack. What does he know? We don't know nothing. So, because everybody's different. Everybody has a different cultivation and a different trigger too. There's going to be something that'll trigger you awake someday, and it's going to be totally different than everybody else. Like Shulao, he had that cup of tea poured on him. That woke him. That was his trigger. That was the straw. Broke the camel's back. That was it. Everybody's different. Everybody will have another event or something very intimate that has to do with them and their causes and conditions that'll make them wake up to their situation.
因为我现在带完课程啊，我告诉你们是干什么呢？我要弘扬正法，也要转变这个世界的杀劫呀，把它无形无相，在无形中啊就把它消灭了。所以我主张人呢是实在，主张人呢不杀生，不偷盗，不邪淫，不妄语，不饮酒。那么最低限度要守个5戒啊。这个守5戒也要守得很清楚的，不是马马虎虎的。所以各位啊，你们到这个万佛城啊，这就到宝山来了。到宝山来呀，不要空手回去，你们要真正得到一点佛法。莫待老来方晓道啊，孤坟都是少年人呐。鸡蛋呢，鸡子本是一元抛，内无心肝，外无毛。我今吃你归西去，免去轮回这一刀。